Hello everyone, it is Sukasa, and welcome back to my Sins Rebellion tutorial slash walkthrough. Sorry about that, starting this episode over, I got way, way frazzled, was not concise. Alright, anyway, I do want to apologize too for the last episode, from last night. At the end of it I got a little bit quiet, and, the sound level was kind of low. That's because it was late at night, my family woke up, and I needed to be a bit quieter, and yeah, so I want to apologize for that. Anyway, this episode I'm going to cover pretty much the last game concept that I've not talked about yet, and that's the criminal underground tab up here that I haven't talked about much, next to the research beaker. And in here, you've got the black market and the pirate raiders, and this is what this episode is going to be covering. The pirate raiders is a pretty small topic. I'm just gonna try to briefly cover it. Over here, right underneath the buy sell crystal, you have a smaller mirrored image of the pirate window in here. This just tells you who the current bounty is on, and allows you with this button right here to place higher bounties on that person. And the red bar is the time. As you can see, the bar is filled all the way up, meaning that the pirate raiders are active. It was a strange coincidence that I've never seen in hundreds of maps, that I had found the pirate base with my scout at the exact same moment that the pirate raiders became active. That was complete coincidence. They have nothing to do with each other. The pirate raiders are active right now because the timer has ran out. As soon as I started the map, it started a 15-minute timer, and now that 15 minutes has passed, so the pirate raiders are getting ready to head out on a raid. And who they decide to go raid is determined by whoever has the highest bounty price on them at that time. In about 20 seconds or so after the countdown timer hits 0, you got about 20 seconds or so. I've never actually timed it, but it seems to be about 20 to 30 seconds. You've got that length of time to start putting your bids on people anonymously, and raising their bounty price. Once those 20 minutes are up, then whoever's got the highest bounty on them is the target of a small raid of pirates that is going to head out from the pirate base in their star system. And that small raid will head out to one of their planets. It seems fairly random. Normally, though, it seems that they target less defended and less entrenched targets, and although often it's just the nearest one. Anyway, though, that small fleet will come out and start messing them up. So for the first pirate raid that becomes active, you really want to make sure that you're not the target of it, or it will impede your colonization and expansion efforts. So there are some tips and tricks I've figured out out of, again, many hundreds of maps I've played. I've figured out a few tips and tricks to ensure that that doesn't happen. As you can see, as soon as it became active, the AI started putting bounties on each other, and that's key. You do not want to start putting these bounties up on people if the timer isn't at 0. If it was 8 minutes ago and there was 8 minutes until the raiders become active, I would not have wanted to start bidding these up. And the AI doesn't do it, and you shouldn't do it either, because the more money that gets put into the system, the more bounties that are placed, the higher that the bounties are, it starts feeding into a system. More pirates start getting recruited, and the raids become bigger. Instead of a small pirate fleet launching, then you're going to have a progressively larger pirate fleet. So you want to try to keep the biddings as low as possible for as long as possible. And as those bids keep going up and more money gets infused, the raids start getting larger. You can tell that by the security threat window right here. Right now it's at low, that's where it starts at. But as that starts getting higher and higher, it's going to change from low to guarded, elevated, high. And once that gets all the way up, there are going to be pretty large fleets that get launched. So you don't want that to start happening until you have the ability to build a decently sized fleet to defend with, just in case you do end up being the unfortunate target of these pirates. Right here it shows you who's the on the hit list. Right. If the pirate window were to time out and the raiders launch at this very second, it would be the purple guy. They're going to be hitting up. Um, all right. So now a couple of tips and tricks I've figured out along the way to make sure that it's not me that is the target of these guys. Um, One of the best ways is find out who hates each other. So you can do that in the relationship windows in here that we talked about last time. This gives you the brief overview of what other people think about each other. And as you can see, the my blue guy, my ally, is actually set to my ally right now. He really does not like the purple guy, -10. And if you click on the blue guy, you can see the purple one really doesn't like him either. So purple's -13 to blue, so they do not get along at all. And that's mainly because if we zoom out, you can see they're in the same star system together. That's another key thing I want to talk about too here in a second. Generally, if they're in the same if you're in the same star system as someone else, they're really not going to like you, and they're going to have a much higher chance to put a bounty on you. So a general rule of thumb is don't place bounties on people that are in the same star system as you. Try to avoid that. Figure out who's in the opposite star system and put bounties on them. I don't know, it's just the way the AI works. They'll not think that it was you, because this whole system is anonymous, and the way the AI works back and forth is they use the relationship window to gauge who they think it might have been. So if blue guy got the bounty on him first, he's going to think, who doesn't like me? He's going to look at this and he's going to say, well, the purple guy really doesn't like me, so it's probably purple guy. So I'm going to place the bounty back on purple guy. And he's justifiably reasonable to think that. However, it might have been me that placed it on him. He doesn't know that, though. So you can play each other off. You can play both ends on the middle, or however that expression is, and make each other, make them bid each other back and forth and keep you out of the mix altogether. And if you're not in the same star system as those two people, they're not going to suspect you, and it'll enable you to stay out of it and not have to worry about pirate raiders getting sent to your home planet. So that's a great way to do it. The way I like to start off, if I'm initiating it, I'll place a 250 on blue guy, and I'll wait about 1 second, and then I'll place a 250 on purple guy. And blue guy's going to think, oh, purple must have did it, and purple's going to think, oh, blue must have did that, and they're going to start bidding each other back and forth, and my initial expenditure of 500 is going to save me quite a bit of time and effort. So that's a few tips and tricks that I've learned over the years to not get pirate raiders on me early on. And I hope you find that useful. The last thing I quickly want to touch on here is the black market. Obviously, I've mentioned over here you can buy and sell crystal in this overlay piece. Here's the expanded window, though. In here you've got the metal represented by the gold side and crystal by the purple side. And in the middle there's a graph. What this represents is the past, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes of the market value for each. You can chart to see how it's gone up and down, so you can see it's currently been climbing, meaning that here shortly it's probably going to drop off. So you might be able to plan a little bit ahead if you want to make big purchases or sell large amounts. Right now might be a good time to go ahead and sell before the price drops, because the way the black market works is like a realistic economy. It's driven on supply and demand, and you can influence it as such. And one of the ways to do that is down here at the bottom with place on market. You can actually, if you have a surplus of something like metal, you can place it on the market, meaning there's more supply of it, and you can undercut it in here with the offering price, and you can end up crashing the market value of something. If you're like me, though, and you rely on selling metal and buying stuff, and you really used it a lot, you might not want to do that because you kind of shoot yourself in the foot. So that's why I generally don't mess with this. So I don't have very many tips and tricks and details on how this works. But suffice it to say, you can crash the market value of something, and especially in multiplayer, if you know your opponent is like me and relies on the black market prices a lot, you can really fuck them over pretty badly. If you know that they're selling their metal a lot to raise funds, you can crash the market value of that, and it can hamper them. I know every time I hear that sound, meaning that the market price of something is crashed, I always go, ah, fuck. So anyway, this is how you do it, and I think that's about that. With this episode, it's a pretty short and sweet episode. I hope I was clear and concise on the topics, and that you found it insightful and maybe learned something. So, I think I'm going to end it here and pick up the next episode with the actual just playthrough. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe for more. Until next time, though, this is Sukasa signing out. Have a good one.